Hello, hello, and welcome to the second half of season 5. I can't believe that we're already halfway through the year. My name is Debbie Heiser. I help entrepreneurs make a lot of money doing what they love without sacrificing what's important to them. I feel an urgency to help people let go of past messaging so that they can lead a lit up life. And with that, I want to again welcome you. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the show.
Straight from the corners of my mind is where I find my sanity.
Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Lead Your Life with Debbie Heiser. I am thrilled to have my guest today, Laura Penney. I met her, as you all know, because you've been listening for a while, and those of you that are new, I tend to like to explain why someone intrigues me, why I'm having them on the episode. And I met Laura at an event that we had in Coeur D'Alene for business women, and it was about uplifting each other in community. And I was speaking there and she sat right behind me. So occasionally we would like say, excuse me, as we went to the restroom. I think I even commented that I love your shoes at one point in time when I didn't know we were sitting by each other. And she just really intrigued me. She won an award there. And as someone that has a message for the world, and Laura, I just felt this also. I don't know. I feel like the older I'm getting, the more empathic I'm getting, but like this groundedness about you and this like spiritual centeredness that you have. And it was so fun to see your family come in as you received that award. Did you know that they were coming?
No, it was a total surprise. That was so amazing. It was so fun.
Yeah, it was great to witness as well. And so I'm going to have Laura introduce herself today from a professional and personal perspective. And then we're going to get into a conversation about her life and also about, and I may be saying this wrong, Laura, so correct me if I'm wrong, but somewhat the people that you're representing.
Oh, perfect. No,
yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so introduce yourself to those that are listening or watching.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I love your background. Life is an adventure. I truly believe that. Truly do embrace that. My name is Laura Penney. And I am a proud Coeur D'Alene tribal member. And I am the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Coeur D'Alene Casino Resort and Circle and Raven Golf Club. And this is a position that I've vied for 3 other times. So I'm just ecstatic I'm living my dream. This is my dream job. And I got my position in October 2019. I have been employed at Coeur D'Alene Casino for 30 years now. And so I've been there since inception. And it's just been amazing adventure. And it's just been amazing to be part of all this great casino resort and all that it means and entails. Yeah. I am a mother of 2 daughters, and they're grown. My youngest just turned 21. It's just amazing how fast, how time flies by. And 3 beautiful grandchildren. They're 8, 4, and 5. And I have an amazing husband.
That's so fantastic. Isn't it being a grandmother the best?
Oh, it's so fun. Yes. Yeah.
It's so much fun. You don't have the pressure of being a parent.
No. Yeah. And you can kind of say, okay, see you later.
Exactly. Okay. So I want to back up a little bit because I knew you had been there at the inception of it. And what did you start out doing? And then I want to ask a little bit about the formation of the casinos in the tribal world, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I had graduated from Eastern Washington University. And while I was in college, I met with my dad. My dad has been a tribal leader for years, the duration of my life. And I went to my father and I said, I want to work for the tribe, because my father always told me to go get my education and come back and serve the tribe and to give back to the tribe. And so I met with my father and I said, so where do you recommend I work? I want to go somewhere where there's growth and opportunity for the tribe and opportunity for me. And he had mentioned our planning department. our tribal planning department. So I met with the planning director at the time and told him that I was close to graduating, and if there's anything that I should focus on within my studies, and then what is up and coming and exciting for the tribe. And so that was a great meeting. And this is how my career started. I did start in our planning department as an economic development planner, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
And then I met this amazing person, he was a tribal leader, former tribal leader. He recently passed away, David Matheson. And he had worked for under the, which administration? Oh gosh, was it Bush? I think it was Bush.
Okay.
And worked for the Interior, and he came back home. He's a Coeur D'Alene tribal member. He wrote the first business plan for our bingo hall, and Indian gaming was new. And so he wrote the first proposal, the business plan, and our tribe had a committee put together to weigh the pros and cons as to whether or not we should get into gaming. And I was part of that committee. And so I got in at the roots, the very roots of our beginnings of gaming.
Wow. Okay, Laura, wow, that's incredible. And what a great opportunity. I was just listening to a podcast this morning that talked about, the opportunities are there. It just depends on if you've created the space to step into those opportunities. And what a fantastic space then that you stepped into. So I have a question. I don't know well, you've been in the inception of this, but tell me, what are some of the struggles that have happened in the gaming industry? And then what are some of the benefits that have come out of the gaming industry in the tribes? Or in your tribe, the Coeur D'Alene
I'm
tribe?
glad you asked that question. So in 1988, the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, which is a federal act, passed. And this was an opportunity for most tribes, but actually it was a true infringement on our sovereignty. Our sovereignty is our right to live as we wish within our reservation. And so this federal act infringed on those rights, but it did enable a lot of us just to come together and to take care of ourselves in the form of providing jobs and revenue for tribal social programs that we've never had before. I can speak to my tribe, the Coeur D'Alene tribe. We had, 35 years ago or so, we had nothing but seasonal jobs, high unemployment, a lot of social ills. Most of the educated left the reservation to find jobs and to live. And so it was, a dismal time. Yeah. However, we were rich. We've always been rich with our culture, our identity, our strength, our perseverance. And so gaming has helped us to be self-sustaining, and has, many people say it's like the white buffalo, and that it's brought life, revitalized life within the tribe, bringing back pride. And our ancestors are amazing in that they've always provided for us and always looked out for the next generations to come. I've stated that we're still fighting for the very same things that our ancestors did in the past. Yeah. For our healthcare, for education, for our own land, healthy lands, waters, animals, and just for our own existence and our language. Our practices, our culture, our cultural practices, and we're still fighting for those same things today. But they've done an amazing job and left a legacy for us to follow and to manage, and we have a great responsibility.
Yeah, Laura, thank you for sharing that. And I spoke with a young woman. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. She's a tribe member of an Alaskan tribe that is way north. And she's incredible. She's 21. She goes to Columbia University, and she's already been to the White House and to Senate hearings about environment. And what she's really pushing, though, is the right for any tribe to get out of the colonized education system. And I was so fascinated. She talked about how her ancestors are better scientists, right? Because they've been studying the land and understand nature and how that moves. And so when you talk about that and revitalizing where you're at, and then also still fighting those same fights. And when she introduced herself in her native tongue first and said, my government issued name is this. And I thought, wow, it feels like we've come so far, but yet that's in my perspective as a white woman, right? Like, and so I would love it if you don't mind getting a little bit raw and real here and talk about, like, what are some of those things? I mean, I know you said education, language, but like, what are some of those things that people that aren't involved in the tribe may or may not know? Like, I was shocked by some of those things. And then I saw a documentary at a Banff Film Festival that was about some of these massive, old, ancient cedar trees being cut down on reservation land. I'm like, how can that even happen? It's not there. It's not owned by the timber companies. I'm baffled by that. And so what are some of those struggles, and what can people that aren't part of the tribe do to help support you in the Coeur D'Alene tribe?
I think this is your podcast is a good example to and providing that format for us to educate and to inform and understand who we are, where we're coming from, and why we do what we do. There's a term called generational trauma, and this is something I think it helps to kind of understand and bring things into perspective as far as some of our struggles as tribal people. Long ago, I speak to our ancestors, and long ago, they lived a harmonious, balanced life. And in regards to, we had enemies, other tribes who are natural enemies, and we had our boundaries. We also had a way of life as to dealing with different issues. If there are stealing, even homosexuality, and just a whole understanding and process as to how to handle these things in a delicate, balanced way. And we each had our roles. And we have our 4 seasons here, and those 4 seasons are used for food gatherings and celebrations. And so there was a way of life, a very beautiful way of life that we lived, and that was taken away through different mechanisms and means, and federal acts, and people moving in. And so our way of life was disrupted, and we were almost led to extinction. And so we had to kind of regroup and pick ourselves back up. And so, as I said, gaming has been an effective tool to provide rebuilding our strength, our pride, our ability to financial ability to take care of ourselves. And also in the education, we're able to fund education, fund our tribal members to go back to school and come back home and take care of our peoples. And it used to be very rare that we had people with bachelor's degrees. And now, a lot of us do. We have doctors. Very proud of our educated tribal members and all that they've done for the tribe.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And it's interesting because if I recall, so I'm from Kansas City originally before I moved to Sandpoint. And so when you talked about where you went to college, I'm like, I know exactly where that is. So because you went to Haskell, right?
Oh, yes. I got my 2-year degree at Haskell, and that was an amazing experience. Well, one, I was young and I'd grown up on the reservation, small reservation in, Tenzin, DeSmet, and our reservations, small rural area. And just to leave and go somewhere completely, Kansas is thousands of miles away. And that was exciting, as a young adult. And the fact that this is an Indian college, and we had Native professors and tribes represented throughout the nation, including Alaska, was just amazing. It was just such a great learning experience and a great sense of pride. And I had no idea that all these tribes were represented, especially from all of Alaska. I thought there was just Eskimos up there, and there's Native tribes, a lot of Native tribes up there. And it was just beautiful to see a lot of the tribes. They spoke their own language. They were fluent. I am Coeur D'Alene. I speak some Coeur D'Alene. I'm not fluent. And that's an issue and concern for a lot of tribes, including my tribe, that we're losing our fluent speakers. And so many of us have our own culture departments, and we try to teach our language. We have our dictionaries, we have our recordings. Some people are fancy, they have their mobile apps. And so that's a huge priority for tribes, including my tribe, to rejuvenate and revitalize our language.
That's great. And I don't keep meaning to refer back to this woman, but it was interesting because she talked about how there are some colleges now, and I think Columbia University is one of them, that are offering, and I don't remember which tribes she talked about, but offering courses to learn tribal language, which I think is great. There's a long ways to go, right? But
it's beautiful. And like any language, there's a personality, and it's indicative of our tribe. It has humor in it, and it's very descriptive. The verbs are dominant, and it's just beautiful. And it's a depiction of our tribe and who we are. And it's just beautiful. And so it just makes me feel guilty. I need to make more effort to become more fluent.
Yeah. Well, maybe somebody should start a podcast on. I've been listening to beginners Italian since I'm going to Italy in October with Gonzaga, and so there are all sorts of podcasts out there. Maybe somebody should start a podcast, and other people can learn it too. So
yes. Oh, so we had a gathering a month ago or so called Affiliate Tribes and Northwest Indians, and this comprises the Northwest tribes coming together and discussing prominent issues, like I said, education, natural resources, the big Indian Child Welfare Act issues and concerns there. And we hosted it. We, the Coeur D'Alene tribe, hosted it here at Coeur D'Alene Casino. And our young children came in from the Early Childhood Learning Center, and they came in and they sang in Coeur D'Alene. They sang a couple beautiful songs in Coeur D'Alene. So we're gradually chipping away and revitalizing our language.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Thank you. So Laura, the next question I'm going to ask you the polar opposite after you finish this one, but what keeps you up at night in two ways? What keeps you up at night as a leader of a major organization that, to your point, infuses a lot of financial stability for your tribe? And then what keeps you up at night from a tribal larger organization, really, because the tribe is an organization as well, like when you think about organizational structure. So what keeps you up at night about those two things?
Yes, I can definitely speak to that. I've had some sleepless nights. This is a very stressful position. As I stated, gaming is that amazing tool that provides revenue and jobs for our tribe. And we're able to take those dollars and we appropriate them to buy back our own land within our reservation, to take care of our elders, to take care of our youth and our health care. And it's just so we're relying upon those dollars to take care of our next generations to come. So it's a heavy responsibility. And I do not take that lightly. There are times I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm thinking, okay, what can I do to make sure that we continue to provide profits? There are concerns, there's been ongoing concerns with staffing, and how do I make sure that I maintain the morale and maintain that culture to where people want to work and they want to work hard and they want to help provide ideas and just provide a good environment for our employees. Those have been of great concern to me. How can we stay competitive? We're in a very competitive market. We have two amazing tribes that are near us, and they're our direct competitors. And then also, the world issues that we're all facing today in the form of inflation, our economy. We have a lot of people moving here from different states, a lot of retirees. How do we capture that market, and how do we integrate into that market and to interest them to come down to our casino resort? That's what's kept me up. That's kept me up many nights, just worried as to how I can continue to be profitable and provide a safe, fun environment for everyone to work and to come and play and have fun.
Yeah,
That
that's a big responsibility. And before I go to the opposite question of that, I want to ask you, so how do you take care of yourself personally so that you can not only help other people that you're employing and, you know, and the tribe as a whole with the financial piece of it, because you're really caring. It's almost like you're a mother, right? Like you're caring for that. And so what do you do to help take care of yourself?
that is very important, and I've learned that real quick.
Yeah.
And it's work. I didn't realize that it could
Yeah.
be work to maintain balance with your, and it's so important because the decisions I make affect people directly and indirectly. And as I said, these monies are being used to invest for next generations to come. So that's huge responsibility. I need to be in a good mindset. I need to have a good, I need to understand my duties and understand just the true vision of our ancestors and where that came from. That's heavy responsibility, and I need to be in a good place when I make these hard decisions. I need to be in a good place as far as it's not my ego, it's not my it's not a benefit to me, but it's for the benefit of the business, but also for the tribe.
Yeah.
And that's a heavy responsibility. So I need to be in good mindset with my body, my heart, and my soul, and my spirit. And I do that. As I said, it's work. I do like to work out. That's a good release for me. And there are times where I don't want to work out, and I gotta be okay with that sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometimes you got to
absolutely.
give yourself a break and just say, it's okay if I just want to sit back and eat potato chips tonight. I got to be okay with that. The next day, I'll pick myself back up and, be disciplined and try to eat more vegetables
Yeah.
and and, not stay on the phone so much. And also making sure I maintain that connection with my family, my loved ones, and let them know how much I appreciate them, and really, take in those moments. Like I said, I've vied for this position for quite some time. So really take that in, that, I've accomplished my goal. I have, this entails a lot more work. I'm not done.
Yeah.
And but just, celebrate, like, yeah, I did this, and celebrate those times with your family, with your friends. And so I think that's so important.
Fantastic. I'm glad to hear you say that. I talk to a lot of clients about step back for a minute and stay in the game. What all have you accomplished, and celebrate that versus thinking about all the things we have to do to get where we want to ultimately go, because that can really bring you down, but you have to see the progress and celebrate that. So nicely done, Laura. So
Yeah.
I want to know the opposite though. What brings you joy?
I think that's important too, as well, just to really recognize that. I'm surprised some people they go like, well, I don't know. I like all, but I love golf. I
It's
just
a good
love,
thing that you're right there, but you happen to know someone that could get you a tea time.
yes, yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
I love golf, and I love being outdoors. In regards to golf, I love being outdoors, and it's just, the especially Circle Raven Golf Club. It's just amazing, and it's just you and that ball, and you can, just whack it, and then celebrate the good shots, and and you learn patience too as well, which I need to work on. And then being with amazing people, fun people, and having that camaraderie. It's just amazing. I love, and golf is a good release for me. And I love, of course, my family, spending time with my family, my friends, my grandkids. They just say, we have the most amazing conversations, and especially with my 8-year-old, he just blows me away with how much he knows, and just the conversations he brings up, and then the 4 and 5-year-olds, oh, they're just fun and crazy, and I can be silly with them, and they're fun. And my husband, he's amazing. He's an avid fisherman. So we go salmon fishing, we go stream fishing, we go pike fishing on the lake, and we're out in the beautiful outdoors as well. So I really take in and those opportunities just to relish those moments with my family, my loved ones. Love spending time with my friends, and so all of that brings great joy. Also, I love the fact that my daughters are healthy, they're productive, they're smart, and they love our culture. I don't know where they got it from, but they bead, and they are very artistic. and they've made some amazing, beautiful, they beaded hats for me,
Oh my God.
necklaces, moccasins. I do not bead. I have no patience for any of that, but they're just amazing artists, and I'm very proud of them. And they take great strides to learn our language too as well. So
Yeah.
we talk and, practice our
Oh, that's
language
great.
as well.
That's great. That's fantastic. Okay. So final question, as a leader, if you were giving advice to any man or woman, young or my age or older, like, what would you say are the top two things that someone really, like, if you could say, these are the two things that I stand on that like should be non-negotiables for people, what would that be?
As far as being a leader, or
Yeah, being a leader of
yeah.
an organization.
I think you need to understand why, why you're doing what you're doing, and do something that you really enjoy. Have that vision is to, well, first understand what makes you tick, and why you're pursuing whatever career or goal that is. Truly understand that, because you have to have good intentions. And then have that vision as to, you know, why, and then how are you going to get there? How are you going to practice to continue to stay on that road and keep yourself on the right track? I think that's so important, and just to maintain that focus. It's
Yeah.
so easy to get distracted. It
Mm.
seems as when you're successful, when you're you're in positions, higher positions, that people tend to become a target at times, or it feels that way. And it's so important not to focus on that. Don't focus on that. It's there, but focus on, what you have a job to do, you have a task to do. You've recognized that this is your goal and this is where you want to be. And so stay focused and being positive, and putting in that work and moving forward. But be aware as to how you're going to get there. And at times there are diversions, but keep yourself focused.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. It's interesting. It seems like every book that I read about leadership or successful business one of the main pieces is be really clear on what you want and what your why is.
Yes.
That's what I'm
Yes.
hearing you say. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, Debbie, I think it's also important to understand your values as well,
Mhm.
because that comes into play when you're making those difficult decisions, whatever they may be, personal or professional. Understand your values and where they're coming from. That really helped us as a business and as a tribe to get through, because our values came into play, because there was no playbook. No one had, we couldn't go to anybody to ask them, like, what do we do? We had to, as I said, our ancestors we always took care of ourselves and our community and our tribe. So we just buckled down, reverted back to our value systems, that we needed to take care of ourselves. So we need to come together and bring everyone in, and really come together and figure out how we're going to get through this, because we're going to take care of each other, and we're going to get through this.
Such a great story of collaboration, right? Like it's a beautiful example of, some people would look at that as like, oh, we need to be, like we need a playbook for this, but what a great opportunity to be able to create it in collaboration.
Yes, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
That's
Yes.
fantastic.
And then, like I said, take care of our peoples. And we took care of our employees. We paid them. We didn't only think it was going to be 2 weeks, but it was 8 weeks. We paid our employees, we paid their benefits, because that was part of our value system. They took care of us, they've worked with us, within our business. And so we need to take care of them. And they really did appreciate that. They recognize that. Our customers, they recognize that too as well, and they appreciated that. And then we made sure that we took care of our customers as well, providing that safe environment and communicating with them as to why and how.
Yeah. Now, Laura, this is kind of an odd question, but it's an interesting one that might be educational too. Do you have a business model where there's a certain percentage, or maybe it's 100% of your employees are tribal, or do you have a certain percentage that come from outside the tribe?
Yes, as I said, gaming, we did pursue gaming. That was
Yeah.
our primary reason, was to provide jobs for our tribal
Great.
members. Our tribe is comprised of about 2,100 tribal members.
Okay.
I think anyone who wants to work is working. We
Yeah.
have, so that is a goal. We are at 24% Coeur d'Alene tribal members, and we have about 850 employees.
Great.
The remaining are from other tribes and non-Indian.
Okay.
And then also we try to mentor and support all of our employees, but ideally we'd like to have Coeur d'Alene tribal members in all of our director roles. And so I'm trying to work with our HR and our training development to provide these type of programs to where we can train and develop our tribal members to be directors. We have had Coeur d'Alene tribal CEOs since day one. And that is because, and we've all had our master's degree, and our master's in business degrees. And so we are definitely, of course, these tribe members, they have to be qualified for the positions. Sure. But we're proud that all of our CEOs, tribal CEOs, Coeur d'Alene tribal CEOs have been Coeur d'Alene. And that really, there's an ownership there and pride. And there's a mentorship there too as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, that just seems important to stay with the values of the tribe. And like you were saying, as you face these difficult decisions, one of the things you lean on is the value orientation that you come from, right? And the ancestral values. So yeah,
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. I know that was kind of an awkward question, but that could get us into HR trouble, right? So I'm sorry.
But we have employees that come from Washington, all over from, Coeur d'Alene and in the surrounding smaller towns. And it's been challenging because there's been wage wars. And it seems as though we are rural, but we're only 30 minutes from our primary markets of Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, but we're competing with everyone else for employees. And then it seems as though the employees kind of have a different mindset these days as well. So it's been challenging.
I would agree with you. And I do want to put a plug in as we wrap this up. I had the opportunity to stay at your resort. This was probably 5 or 6 years ago. My then husband was really active in Boy Scouts, and there was a big Boy Scout archery thing south of the resort. And so we spent the night there. And then because we had to be up really early the next morning to go to that. And what a beautiful place. As a matter of fact, I should come down there and do my own little business retreat so I can do some planning and going forward. So, because I've heard the spa is amazing. So,
it's like, that's number 2 as far as one of my favorite things. Number 1's golf, number 2 is that spa. And it's, that we're surrounded by beauty. We're blessed. We're blessed to live here. It's just so beautiful with our tall pine trees, our beautiful lakes, and our rolling Palouse hills. And we're surrounded by that beauty. We're blessed. And so our spa is, and our golf course is interspersed of that beauty. The spa is 15,000 square feet, and there's a beautiful, large hot tub outside. I rented this couple. They come here every winter from Seattle. They drive over, and they said this is their favorite time of the year. They like to sit in that big hot tub and have the big snowflakes come down on them. And then we decorate the resort really nice. And so they really do enjoy that. So it's really kind of fun to run into them, but you better come down and check out that spa. It's really something special. We have massages, pedicures, manicures, facials.
Okay.
And
good.
Yeah, great retail.
I might have to get online and book myself a little weekend spa getaway and do some, because sometimes I find for me, when I'm trying to strategize for my own business, I have to remove myself from my house or my office to like I can get into that space, but it's nice to have kind of a change of pace and be able to do that. So I'm going to have to look into doing that. So thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, Miss Laura, as we finish this up, if we were to send someone to say, hey, I want to learn more about Laura, I want to learn more about the Coeur d'Alene tribe, more about the gaming industry that helps, like I'm now encompassing, because I know across the US tribes also do gaming in multiple places, but like if they wanted to get in touch with you, learn more about the Coeur d'Alene Resort and Spa, where would you send them?
My email address is lpenney, and that's Penney at cdacasino.com.
Perfect.
And our phone number is 800-523-2464. That's the casino's phone number. And in regards to the tribe has their administrative offices in Plummer, Idaho, and their phone number is 1-208-686-1800. They have a website, it's CDA Tribe, and the casino's website is cdacasino.com. There are several books out there, and recently I was told there's like a new one that's out, and I'm sorry I don't have it off the top of my head, but Google Coeur D'Alene Tribe and I'm sure it will pop up. And the Saga of the Coeur D'Alenes is one book, and then there's a couple others.
Okay, perfect. I know I always love to watch the movie Smoke Signals because I see all the Coeur d'Alene tribal area. But anyway, thank you so much for being on, and we'll put some of those links in the show notes for those of you that are listening. If you're driving, don't worry about getting the numbers down. We'll throw them in the show notes. And Laura, thank you. It has been such a pleasure to chat with you this afternoon. And for everyone that's listening or watching, thanks so much. And we'll see you next week.
Yes, thank you so much. Great to see you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. The song Ride is co-written and sung by Miss Jackie Wilson and her collaborators Tyler Banks, David DJ Lee, and Chris Renee. And a huge shout out to them for allowing us to use this perfect song. Everyone have a fabulous week, and I'll talk to you next week.